the capitalist economy goes bust, either we print money or the slave labor workforce, all of us, dies. Because money is not recirculating through the economy.
A similar case made its way to the Supreme Court way back in 1937. The court's opinion in that case upheld the National Labor Relations Board and its decision to punish steel barons who fired workers who tried to organize a union. Modern-day robber barons, Bezos and Musk, are hoping today's Supreme Court will reverse its 1937 ruling and return America to a time before workers had a referee to ensure their rights. Evidently, it's not enough for Bezos and Musk to amass more wealth than any two people in the planet. No, they want even more wealth and covet even more power and don't want to share it with their workers. You see, unions are one of the greatest champions of equality.
Show you this other clip from Robert Reich that he posted today, which goes along with exactly what we're talking about, which is...
Somebody sent me this clip. Let's take a look.
My new perspective is there's nothing wrong with being a billionaire, but if somebody is working 40 hours a week, 160 hours a month, and they can't make their rent, you're not paying them enough money.
Absolutely.
Maybe you should just be worth $900 million.
Yeah.
Like, how does a CEO take a 8-figure bonus and none of your employees have dental insurance? They can't even go out and get a filling. There's these nerd billionaires out there saying, I want my employees to come to work terrified, go to bed terrified, wake up terrified. I mean, you don't think it's that, then they're terrified to go out and spend any money.
It's absolutely right. There are billionaires now, 700 to 800 billionaires in America, and they are not only dominating the economy, they are dominating politics. They are actually running as oligarchs so much of this country, and at the same time, you got 70% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, barely making it. This is the kind of distortion that Donald Trump exploited in becoming president twice. He promised average working people he'd be on their side. And the Democrats, if they knew what they needed to do in order to become a dominant party again and to get the White House back and the Senate and the House, they have got to talk about the irresponsible and abusive behavior and abuse of power and money of billionaires and large corporations. Somebody sent me this clip. Let's take a look.
That is Bill Burr. Someone correctly identified that. And that's what he's saying when he's saying, like, when people are scared to spend money, when the economy stagnates, I could give you a million reasons that's a crisis and why the majority of income should be sitting in what used to be the middle class, now is just the working poor, and would then recirculate. Right? When you have people just who have wealth upon wealth upon wealth, consolidating wealth at the top of the economy, there is no incentive to recirculate it. Period. Our economy stagnates. The gross GDP stagnates. Maybe that's why we're at 1.2%. I talked about this with tariffs, how any economist or people that can read numbers and understand the economy know tariffs changes consumer behavior. When the price of things raise, it's not like people are just like, I'm going to keep paying this, I'm going to keep paying this, I'm going to keep paying this, no matter how much it is. No, there's a barrier to entry. You won't raise people's wages. People don't have expendable income. So when tariffs are put on goods, people are just going to change their buying behavior. They're going to stop putting money into the economy. This is not brain surgery, I promise. Like, for so long, I think we were talking about this in the Discord like a month ago. Like, for so long, I think because I was a woman, even though I was brilliant, I was just men would tell me all the time, like men I've worked with on TikTok, oh, the economy's my thing. Really? Because you guys are so bad at speaking to it. And it was almost like I just thought, well, I guess men discuss the economy, but then I started just getting into it. I'm like, man, this is super simple and super easy. And really, no men know what is going on with the economy. So I would encourage everyone, as we are robbed and as corporations and billionaires literally lobby and bribe the federal government to change laws so they can get richer and we have less, to just understand economics is super simple. MAGA men just aren't smart. Just look into it. If you're going to be robbed, you may as well just figure out how money moves around the world, how supply chain works, and be able to speak to it effectively. Because I promise you, I feel like a lot of us like grew up thinking like, oh, this is beyond me. Like, I can't understand it. Oh, you can understand it. A fucking cat could understand it. Just MAGA men are dumb, and they just, instead of learning themselves, when they feel insecure about their own knowledge, instead of being like, God, I'm going to look into this, they just punch down on women. They're like, you stay in the kitchen. Yeah, don't stay in the kitchen. Just, the economy is not hard to understand. Men, it's just beyond men. They are dumb. And that's why we're in this situation, because men can't figure out what's going on. Sorry, but that's the truth. And by the way, a couple minutes ago, I saw someone say John Bolton's house was raided. I do know that, and I have been following it. I have all the clips of it. I do think that's a great distraction from the Epstein files released. John Bolton's house was raided. If you don't know, I always tell this story. I think I told it on Monday and Wednesday. John Bolton is the guy that when George W. Bush was president, he's like, I can't work with John Bolton. John Bolton's an insane person. Like, every time I go into meetings with John Bolton, he's like, with other countries, he's like telling them he's going to drop nuclear bombs. And then John Bolton met Trump and Trump was like, I can't work with Trump. Trump's an insane person. Like, just to give you the level of how crazy Trump is, John Bolton's like, this guy's actually insane. I was pretending to be insane. This is an insane person. And when Trump got into office, he's been very mad at John Bolton for telling the truth about him. He revoked his security clearance, his security detail. John Bolton is he has unaliving threats from several countries in the Middle East. I think Iran is a particular one that wants him no longer to be with us. And Trump removed his security detail, pretty much hoping he was going to be unalive, removed his security clearance. And Trump's very mad at John Bolton. If you don't remember, I played this clip on Monday when I was on my rant about Trump on his knees in Alaska for Putin. John Bolton's comment on CNN after that was like, man, Trump looks old and confused. Like, what the is he doing? He's like, this isn't even the Trump I knew in his first term. Trump's very mad that John Bolton keeps pointing out the truth about him. So now they're accusing him of having classified documents and searching his house, like, which is all just another distraction from all the ways in which we are being robbed. It's all, yeah, I agree. This is all nonsense. Everything about this is, I agree, A to Z. This is all nonsense. Yeah, of course. But, and also more importantly, you can't have it both ways. Like I've read every single primary document in the Mar-a-Lago docs case. I know that Trump's a criminal, right? Like, now you're just weaponizing the DOJ, but it is funny. I do find it hilarious. Like, the whole point was like, when Trump gets in office, we're not going to weaponize the federal government, the FBI. And again, because MAGA's not very smart, the opposite has happened. Trump has grown the size of the swamp. He is weaponizing the federal government at every single turn in his favor, directing retaliatory prosecutions to punish people for just saying the truth about him. Again, not super smart. We're saving no money. Trump has spent more than Biden. And Biden had a pandemic to recover from. So no matter what we do at every turn, I just keep thinking, God, people, like, how can it get worse? And that's why we're defunding education, to make sure that, like, I say MAGA's dumb, but like, as a former teacher, like the education system has failed them, and they're cheering on making the education system worse, making themselves and their children dumber so they can be manipulated and used more. You can't write this shit. Instead of being like, damn, we need to figure out what's going on. Like, I don't want my kids to be as dumb as me. They're like, let's make them dumber. Why not? Let's all get dumber. Let's make more bad decisions. Oh, I forgot a lot earlier. I was like, I forgot to add this clip to my presentation. I'm going to add it when the cloud updates. I'll play it. This is how my brain works, but I just noted the cloud. The cloud finally updated. This guy's name, he's a Texas state senator. If you don't know, they're pushing the gerrymandered maps through the Texas state. If it hasn't happened, it's probably happening today or Monday. They're trying to push the final gerrymandered maps through the Texas state Senate. And remember, the whole reason they were able to do this was by luring people to a special session under the guise of, we're going to help flood victims. That's what they said. When Trump has defunded FEMA, and I encourage, if you want to know who to blame for all those children drowning in that flood at that camp in Texas, it's Kristi Noem and FEMA. Biden's FEMA wasn't failing anyone. Biden's FEMA actually responds, but you can do your own research. There's plenty of secondary research backed up by primary documents to prove that FEMA failed those children, period.
I've been quiet about this for a good while. But this morning when I saw this bullshit tweet by Abbott, I can't keep quiet anymore. When he wants to sign this bill for those poor families in Kerr County that lost their children. And certainly my heart goes out to those people. I told them that last night. I've seen pain and suffering before. I saw it in Uvalde, Texas. I saw all those families that lost their children. But this piece of shit governor wants to say how proud he is of himself and the legislature for signing this bill. You know, for shit that should have been done a long time ago, for shit that should have been done that would have saved these children's lives. And they've been in control and in power of this state for so long. Water gauges along the river, sirens, just basic shit. This sorry piece of shit and his fucking cronies could never have done before. And insofar as signing a bill right away, go fuck yourself. You couldn't do the one fucking thing in Uvalde. There was no special session for those families. There was no money for those families. There was no bill, the simplest fucking bill on gun relief, which was to expand the age limit on AR-15 access to 21. You couldn't even do that, you piece of shit. You're a sorry fucking excuse for a governor. You're a fucking useless fucking idiot. I've been quiet about this for a good while.
Just saying, like, some people are like, God, that lady's super mad. Like, if you're not this angry, like Texas State Senator Roland Gutierrez, if you're not this angry yet, then you're an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm just telling you, if you're not as angry as I am, if you're not calling people dumb as fuck, if you're not like you're a fucking idiot who has the lives of drowned children on your head in Texas. And by the way, also look into FEMA, by the way. There are primary sources. Not just did Greg Abbott fail, and while all these crony, like, alleged public servants like Ken Paxton and Greg Abbott are enriching themselves in Texas instead of doing what they need to do to protect the public with Texans' state tax dollars. Look into how FEMA failed these children too. This is all documented. While Trump decided to try to dismantle FEMA and cut them, they're not answering the phones while this emergency. Look into it. I mean, I know you won't, because people that support Trump can't read or do math, so you won't. But yeah, if there is one thing I'm sure about, I find it hilarious that MAGA's like, oh my God, like Trump's on the Epstein list. Conservatives hate children. Conservatives hate women. And I don't mean that this is not my feeling. It's called statistical analysis. We use statistical analysis to do something called impact studies. And we know that legislation disproportionately disenfranchises, mathematically, not my feelings, women and children in red states. And when conservatives control the federal government, this is the legislation they pass. It's not up for you being like, no, it's a fact. That's the truth. You guys don't care about children. We already know. You don't have to thoughts and prayers us anymore. We know you guys don't give a shit about kids. Then you're trying to force women to give birth. Why would a woman in their right mind have a child in this climate? Why? You'd have to be nuts. You can't protect a child. Like, if you're a mother, your job is to protect a child. We can't protect children from this bullshit. There's no way to. Not to say, I mean, you know what I'm saying. Sorry. I want to play this. Oh, wait. No, this first. Which I should have looked up who this guy was, but I always talk about the rapid response account. Fact post. I think it's the rapid response account for the Democratic Party. If it's not, I'm going to be disturbed to find out what it really is, but that's what I think it is. It's called Fact Post News. Okay. They posted this clip. Wait, where's my, sorry. Disappeared for a second.
Military, they've already got the cops on the street that are not cops or that are the military. They've already got the National Guard on the street. They already have all your information in DC, and now they just get to decide what is and isn't over the line. That should scare everybody. You're fucking nuts, dude. If this doesn't scare you, you're nuts. All of these things that Alex Jones, and I've had Alex on, I like Alex, but all these things that Alex Jones was like worried about when I listened to him in the late 90s, early 2000s are coming to fruition. And I don't know where he is on all of that stuff, but like, I know he's a big fan of Trump, but like, this is everything Alex Jones always talked about. Military in the street, the FEMA camp, the tech company that monitors everything, the surveillance. This is all of that. I mean, not to sound like a fucking nut. This is everything a crackhead. And I don't even mean a crackhead like crack, but a guy smoking weed in a room with a fucking black light and a fucking, insane clown posse tattoo on his arm. I'm thinking of a very specific guy I was friends with. But this is everything that guy would have talked about. He'd be like, bro, there's going to be military in the street. They're going to put you in jail for your fucking thoughts, man. If you just say them, bro, you're going to be in fucking jail. There's going to be a fucking company that monitors everything you do, bro. Like, this is literally the wet dream of every conspiracy theorist that has ever lived, and it's happening now.
And what are they going to do about it? Continue giving Trump a Andrew Jackson. Like, you know what I'm saying? I talked yesterday about how Dan Bongino was replaced. Is Dan Bongino screaming to the hilltops? No, he's still sitting there like a cuck. Even though at least he made enough noise to be quietly replaced, but he's still not saying the truth. I mean, this is a joke at this point. Every single thing you guys accuse the left of, which this is Freudian and you guys can't read and know nothing about psychology. So yes, you pointed at us and accused us of what you guys were all guilty of and what was coming down the pipeline in your own world. And now that it's all come to fruition, you guys are all deaf mutes. Don't worry. Leave it to the brown and black people. Leave it to the women. Leave it to the children to fix everything for you. If it's even possible to fix. You guys are constantly creating giant messes by your cowardice and idiocy. And don't worry. The brown and black people that have barely any rights, that are disenfranchised voters, and women, can't even go to the doctor and get medical procedures. But we'll save you guys. We'll save you, coward, middle-aged, white male conservatives. Don't worry. Just take a load off. You guys have done enough, and by enough, I mean nothing. Per usual, you guys have done nothing but create a giant mess, and now a bunch of other people have to come in and fix it. And if anyone's wondering who this is, his name's Tim Dillon. He's like a podcaster and comedian, which he did. I saw an episode of his show where he had Alex Jones on. And it's funny because at the beginning of Trump's second presidency, Alex Jones had started to be like, damn, like, this is starting to seem like all the stuff that I like. Ugh. And now he's gotten dead silent. Like they all do when they have something to lose. Dead silent. Sorry, I muted myself. My poor cat is screaming. Okay, this interview was done by Elizabeth Warren last night with Chris Hayes on MSNBC. And I thought there were so many great gems. If you don't know, Elizabeth Warren was a trial lawyer. She's an economist. She was a law professor. She's fucking brilliant. That's why Trump makes fun of her. I know, like, white men are like, oh, we're making fun of Elizabeth Warren. No, like, because you're insecure and you're scared of her intelligence. So that's why you're making fun of her. Not because she doesn't know twice as much as you. It's because you're not smart.
One of the things that's so striking here, though, is, I'm married to an incredible and brilliant lawyer. You're a lawyer. You were a law professor. But sometimes there's a little bit of what I call lawyer brain in the Democratic Party. And what I mean by lawyer brain is just like...
And Chris Hayes is a lawyer. Like, this is what's wrong with the Democratic Party. I heard this and I was like, oh, my God, they have to hear this. I could not agree more.
A lot of times it's the lawyer's job in an organization to be like, no, we can't do that. No, and I feel like there's a lot of that sometimes in the Democratic Party. And I do think that this is one of these moments where there's got to be some real creative thinking about lawful, democratically legitimate responses that might be outside the norm to what is being done in an attempt to essentially consolidate a kind of anti-democratic regime.
Yeah, well, that's the real point here, isn't it, Chris? We can't live in a world anymore where we pretend that everybody's playing by the same set of rules when it's very clear.
We're not even on the left, prior. Hopefully this will change now going forward. But we're not even talking about unlawful. We're like, can't do anything that's unethical. Every single thing Donald Trump has done is unethical. It is unconstitutional. It is unlawful. And no one's doing anything about it. So you need to stop with is this ethical? Is this lawful? And we have to do anything we can do to stop this psycho now.
That the Republicans, who are not supported by the majority of people in this country, that those Republicans are determined to rig every rule they can, to break laws, to ignore laws, in order to be able to seize power and to hang on to it. As Democrats, we have a responsibility to fight back and fight back hard. And that's what I love about what California is doing.
One of the things that's so striking.
Amen. And let's also stop. I don't ever want to ask again, like, can we do this? Yes. Just like Trump and the conservatives will do anything they want. And I don't want to say conservatives because I think the majority of the voting base of MAGA are absolutely clueless, insecure idiots. But I mean, the rich, there's no lie they won't tell to consolidate power. There's no lie or unethical or unconstitutional thing they won't do to consolidate power. There's no unethical or unlawful or unconstitutional thing they won't do to transfer wealth to the top of the economy. Period.
Citizens United was wrongly decided. Super PACs and unlimited spending are a disaster. And it would be utterly insane not to use a super PAC when you're running for president, because you can't essentially unilaterally disarm if those are the conditions of rules that have been set for democratic competition.
That's right. But the one thing I want to remind everyone is when the Democrats get in power again, and we will, we've got to change the rules. We've got to change the rules on the impact of money in politics, and we've got to pass the Voting Rights Act again and make sure that there is true protection so that every voter in this country gets heard with his or her vote.
That's a very good point.
If you don't want that, if you don't want every voter in this country to be heard, then you're an idiot carrying water for billionaires, for the 1%, and you don't know it. So I would advise you to do some research. Keep tapping the screen. We are almost to 300K. I know it's Friday and everyone's like, I'm going to unalive myself. I feel the same way. My cat is screaming for me. So I want to make sure I get through this because it's like, I could play you. Jerome Powell spoke, his last speech to the Fed was today. And I could show that and be bored. But I think I've covered most of the financial information. And I just want to show these clips because Elizabeth Warren is brilliant. And that's the true test of being a brilliant woman when insecure conservative men start shitting on you.
They are actively taking electricity generation power off the grid and giving the AI folks carte blanche to build data centers that are going to jack up your rates.
You're building exorbitantly expensive, and I could get into our energy crisis. There's so many things that go into this, but MAGA man, when your electric bill skyrockets and you start crying for 5 years, people whose brains work have tried to tell you about this and you don't listen. Right? We're building huge data centers that's pulling from our electric grid. Are we charging corporations for this? How are we charging them? Can someone show me that? Let's look into that. Let's talk about energy consumption. Because Trump was bribed to shit on solar and wind energy, we're no longer going to have a diversified energy options in this country. We're not going to move towards clean, cheaper energy because Trump was bribed to bring back clean coal. You guys all dumbly, because Trump told you, which was a fucking lie, because we paused new LNG export contracts, new ones, for 6 months, which what came out of that study? I read it on here a month ago. The reason that study was going on because Biden hired actual intelligent people was because what we learned was if we continue the up and to the right exports of LNG, that domestic energy rates will skyrocket, particularly in red states in the South. Your energy bill will quadruple in the next 5 years. And that's why they were doing that, what I call statistical analysis or impact study, was to try to protect dumbasses in the South whose brains don't work. So when your electricity skyrockets, don't say no one told you about any of this.
They're taking away healthcare subsidies. This is not just Donald Trump happens to be president while this is happening. They are actively spiking the prices of these things.
That's right. That is exactly right. In fact, look at what he has done with tariffs. Look, I've been pounding on the Fed for a couple of years now to lower the interest rates, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, on this show.
Donald Trump wants to see those interest rates come down. That's exactly right. But Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, said last month, he said the Fed would have lowered interest rates last February if it hadn't been for Donald Trump's chaos around the tariffs. And he said, basically, we can't do it because of what Donald Trump is doing. And think about that. That means every single person in America who has a credit card balance that they're paying interest on, people with car loans, people who have loans have paid more, at least since last February, because of Donald Trump's economic chaos. So it's exactly like you said. It's not like, oh, Donald Trump happens to be president while these huge forces are happening. No, it's that he is driving up costs for families. His tariff policies, his chaos, driving up the cost of groceries. His policies around energy are driving up the youth.
Someone's yelling a racial slur in the comments. Mike, would you like to come up here and debate me on the state of the economy in the United States and the rising energy costs and the implication and who's to blame for that? I will take that debate here. Let me send you a request, because my guess is your brain doesn't work. Now, you can prove me wrong, but I'm going to bet that your brain does in fact not work. Mike, why aren't you up here? I'm so confused. Why aren't you up here, Mike? We've sent you a request to debate the economy. I can't wait. I can't wait. My brain, I have almost a photographic memory, so you will be publicly humiliated. Do you guys see what I'm saying? That idiot, I literally said, insecure white men who can't do math use racial slurs and talk about a law professor and an economist who's never said an untrue thing in her tenure as a public servant. But because they can't do math and they have no idea what's going on, then they use racial slurs to speak about her. Instead of blaming Donald Trump, who is mathematically robbing you. You're a cuck, Mike. Let me say it slower for you. You are a cuck who's in this live defending a man who has mathematically, not will rob you, has robbed you.
Hello?
Hey!
Yeah,
So
it's
glad
weird.
you're
Now
here.
it's working as far as the reception, but before I was hearing like 1 millisecond of you every 10 seconds.
I said you were a cuck.
Okay, now that's the first time I'm hearing it from you.
Yeah, I said that. That's what I was just saying right before you appeared. So do you want to tell me you were referring to a law professor and economist as Pocahontas. Do you want to tell me what don't you agree about?
She hasn't proven that she has Native American ancestry.
Yes, actually. God, and that's so wait, can I just
Where's the 23 in me?
Mike, you're an idiot. So actually, she did show her own DNA report. You are that dumb. You're on a supercomputer, Mike. You could effing Google it. She did show her ancestry, and you are yelling racial slurs. Mike, maybe instead of you just yelling racial slurs when you don't have any information about what you're yelling, because a guy who mathematically has robbed you told you to yell them, instead of being a cuck who works for Donald Trump, maybe you should take the supercomputer you're on and figure out who is robbing you. Can you imagine being as dumb as these people are? Like full-time dumb. Full-time dumb. And I did not, where did he go? I didn't make him go. He ran. They always run. You know what I mean? I think they happen upon my live and they get confused. And then they start like figuring out, this isn't going to go the way I thought it was going to go. At any time she released her DNA, he was about to be like, where's her 23andMe? I don't know. You're on a supercomputer, Mike. Why don't you be less dumb and find it? I can find it. You're the dumb person. And you're attacking her, a person that's trying to educate you, a law professor and economist who's like, hey, here's why your energy prices are going to go up, because Donald Trump is a lying grifter who's creating instability in the economy and robbing you. And you're just like, well, Trump said Pocahontas, so I'm saying Pocahontas. I think we should all just give up. These are the idiots we have to save. Do you know what I mean? These are the idiots poking holes in our life raft. Oh my God, I have to just My cat is smarter than Mike. Quite literally. My cat is smarter than the man that just came up here. And we've got to drag Michael's ugly dead body weight over the finish line so we can save ourselves. Do you know what I'm saying? This is the reality. These idiots. Mike, while you're on your supercomputer, while you ran away, in case you're still in the shadows and still can hear, why don't you figure out who actually is robbing you? Why don't you figure out who that is? It's not brown people. It's not immigrants. It's not black people. Figure out who has your money, Mike. Jesus Christ. You could do one Google search and find her DNA. One Google search. One Google search, find her DNA. Like, these people are brain dead. Brain dead. We're just dragging their dead, brain dead body weight on our backs. Hey, Mike, whatever happens, don't figure out what's going on. Don't learn how to do math. Don't figure out how the economy works. Don't figure out what the supply chain is. Don't figure out like how money moves around the globe. Just be brain dead. Just let us carry your dead body weight, and you just believe that brown people have your money. That makes more sense. Jesus Christ, I give up today. Like, truly, I think I'm going to go spend some time with my cat, because my cat is smarter than Mike. And this is why, if anyone's ever like, why don't you ever debate online? This is not debate. It's just dumb people. Dumb people who know nothing. Yeah, I mean, that's community service. And I guess next time I get arrested and I need like 100 community service hours, that will be what I count as debate on TikTok. We do need a new gift goal. No, I think I just have to call it. I'm sorry. I can't deal with any more dummies today. Like, the world is falling apart, and Mike's like, where's your DNA report? I don't know. Do a Google. Use your fingers, Mike. The fingers that allowed you to get on this live and look it up, just like I did. I'm sorry. We should just all give up. Let's just all reset. Let's take 48 hours and try to forget how dumb MAGA men are and how hopeless they are. You guys owe us a big favor. If we claw back American democracy, and they won't thank us, they'll somehow take credit for it. Just know that, these idiots. Please never come in here again, Mike. Jesus. If we got them full-time tutors, it's hopeless. It's hopeless. Okay, I'll see you guys on Monday. I've got to take a break from people like Mike. I'm going to go hang out with my cat, Mr. Mintz, because he has way better ideas than Mike. I love you all. I will see you on Monday, where we will do this all again and talk about the fresh set of problems that have been created over the weekend by idiot conservative men who couldn't find their way out of a paper bag to save their lives. Until